Hey guys, Eckhart Slaughter with another one-off Star Wars lore story, and of course this comes from Star Wars Legends, and specifically the book Death Star by Michael Reeves and Steve Perry. This book is a ton of fun, and it chronicles the lives of certain individuals who lived within the Death Star, obviously before its destruction. Now, if you want to read this book yourself, I'm going to put a link down in the description with an Amazon affiliate link. If you purchase it from there, you'll not only get a new Star Wars book, but you'll also be supporting the channel. And this is the first of several videos I've got coming out focusing on the Battle of Yavin. And this video specifically is about a group of defectors who escaped the Death Star right before it exploded. Quite a fun, interesting story. And this story is about several characters. The first is Teela Karaz. She was an architect who was first to work on the Death Star after she was arrested as a political prisoner. Teela would later fall in love with and start dating villain Dance, who was a TIE fighter pilot for the Empire. These two lived on the Death Star, as did hundreds of thousands of other people. I mean, you gotta remember, along with the stormtroopers on the Death Star, there were hundreds of thousands of civilians, ordinary people, janitors, cookers, cleaners, whatever. They did things like going to bars, there were libraries, what have you. Anyway, all of this changed after the two witnessed the destruction of Alderaan, where billions of people were killed in an instant. And I mean, after that point, they realized that the Empire was not just a little mean, but totally evil. So they, along with several other people, decided that they had to leave the Death Star and defect from the Empire. And I mean, if you think about it, this isn't unlike what happened to Finn at the beginning of The Force Awakens. So along with them was Nova Still, who you can actually see at several points in Episode 4. He's a stormtrooper and a Death Star guard. Rodo, who was a bouncer for one of the cantinas on the Death Star. Ator Raitin, who was a librarian. Selit Ratul Deal, who was a smuggler who was captured by the Empire on the planet which the Death Star was being built on. Mima Ruthis, who was the owner of the cantina that I just mentioned. And finally, Cornell Divini, who was a doctor. The group learned that the rebels were planning to destroy the Death Star, and during the Battle of Yavin, they planned to steal a shuttle. So they managed to fight off some Imperials and actually escape the Death Star itself, again in this little shuttle. And remember that this is all happening during the Battle of Yavin. And well, since it's during the battle, guess who is out there flying around? Darth Vader. He sensed with the Force that they were deserters of the Empire and told them to return to the battle station. They of course didn't and attempted to continue to fly away. Darth Vader couldn't stick around to make sure that they complied because of course he had more important matters to attend to, mainly rebels trying to blow the space station up. So the group said screw it, kept flying away, but as Han Solo, Obi-Wan, or Luke Skywalker would have been able to tell them, they were captured in a tractor beam. Thankfully for them, the tractor beam was disabled, not by Obi-Wan flipping a switch, but by young Luke Skywalker destroying the Death Star. And with that, the ship was free to go. It just barely escapes the shockwave of the explosion, so they must have been in the special edition version of the Death Star. And the group is free from Imperial clutches. Now, I won't spoil what happens to them afterwards because some of them pair up, we get a little bit of what happens to the group or what is going to happen to the group after their escape. And also, I've left out so much of the build up to the escape, so much of the characters' backstories, and they're each individually really fun and really interesting. And I mean, the Death Star book as a whole is really, really fun. It's cool to see that the Death Star had things like cantinas and libraries. You learn a little bit about how the Empire operated at the time, what stormtroopers did for fun, the illicit activities that went on in the Death Star. And again, I really recommend this book to you guys. It's a whole lot of fun. Of course, it's Legends, so it's no longer canon, but that's never stopped me before. I really hope you guys enjoyed learning about the Imperial Defectors who left the Death Star during the Battle of Yavin. I'd say they got extremely lucky that Darth Vader was busy doing other things and that Luke Skywalker was able to destroy the Death Star because they were stuck in the tractor beam, and I don't think that they would have had a very warm reception upon their return. Anyways guys, if there are any other stories that you would like to hear me cover, let me know down in the comments. I love going through Legends, rereading things, and summarizing them for you. Of course, if you have any idea for any future videos, whether they're Star Wars one-on-ones, top 5 lists, whatever, let me know down in the comments. My question of the day is this, and it's kind of twofold. Pretend you live on the Death Star. If you're a civilian, what job would you want and where would you want to live? If you're a stormtrooper, what rank would you want to be and what position would you like to hold? Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, may the Force be with you.